There. In this video, I'm just going to talk to you about absolute value. Absolute value will never have a negative assigned to it. Once you get the answer, when you're solving for the absolute value, you'll never have a negative, because all that absolute value is the distance that a number is from zero. Like how many spaces you have to move from zero to get to that number. So you're not necessarily going to say, I'm moving a negative amount of spaces. It's just if your starting point was zero and you had to go to that place, you just count how many spaces you moved. So the absolute value of the number 18 is 18. The absolute value of a negative 107 is just 107, because you just move 107 spaces from zero. Absolute value of 423 is 423. The absolute value of 95 is 95. Now, the absolute value of this, you just pull the number out without the negative on it. Pull the number out without the negative on it. Pull the number out without the negative on it. Pull the number out without the negative on it. That number, 42, this number, pull the number out without the negative on it. Pull the number out without the negative on it. But when you get down here, it gets a little more complicated, because this is saying 5 plus the absolute value of 6, which is just 5 plus 6, because 6 is the absolute value of a negative 6. So your answer would be 11. Now this one's negative 3 multiplied by the absolute value of 52, which the absolute value of 52 is 52, but you still have to multiply it by a negative 3, because that wasn't in the bar, the absolute value bar. So negative 3 times 52 will give you a negative answer. Okay, but this one, the negative sign is going to be removed. So that's just 3 times 52. 12 divided by the absolute value of 4 is just 4. So your answer will be 3. Now this one, you do the math, but you end up with negative. But they want the absolute value of that negative. So the negative is going to be removed. And then this negative will remain because it's on the outside of the bars. Do the math, you get a negative 14, but when you bring it out of the bars, you get a positive 14. Negative 14 plus positive 14, you know what that does. Okay, do the math, but the answer cannot be negative within there. But what's outside of here remains the way it is to solve for the rest of the problem. Absolute value of negative 7, the 7 comes out alone, but this negative sign stays outside of the 7. So then it's 49 divided by a negative 7. That negative sign's removed because the absolute value of 4 is just 4. Negative 5 plus 4 gives you a negative 1. You getting the idea? You're going to pull the negative 7 out, but this negative stays beside it. So you get a negative 6 times a negative 7, which will give you a positive 42. I hope that helped.